What is up, everybody? What's good? Hope you guys are all doing well. Welcome back to more esports talk. Today we talk about the options in Texas for Hector Rodriguez. We are all curious of what this man's going to do in the future, and I think he has 4 total options. Now I'm going to talk about, what these 3 options might be before his 4th option, and let's break it down for all of you guys. 3 of those options include joining a separate organization, and the 4th option, as I'm sure you guys might assume, would be doing his own thing all over again. We've talked about in the past about Hector wanting to start over again, although he's not sure if he's going to. He talked about that in his podcast episode alongside Maniac. Let's break it down, guys. He has 3 options inside Texas alongside a 4th option of his doing his own thing. The first one is which I do see that being Lee Zybin. We've talked about this, the man himself who has already purchased the Houston Outlaws. This same guy took to Twitter to say, hey guys, I'm going to buy an OWL team and an OWL spot, and he thinks he's actually going to do the same thing for Call of Duty with a CWL spot alongside a COD team who we think might be that of E United. It might be a separate team out there. All I'm saying is Lee Zybin has already purchased the Houston Outlaws. He said on Twitter he was going to do so. He lived up to that part of it. He also said in that same tweet, though, he'd be doing that for Call of Duty, so I have to assume he will do that as well. So can Hector join up with him, go down to Houston, which, by the way, Frisco to Houston, right around 4 hours, just over that, I think, in terms of drive time, guys. So a bit of a range for Hector to go, but certainly an option on the table would be Hector Rodriguez alongside Lee Zybin. He gets his Houston Outlaws, and maybe gets a Call of Duty team out of it as well. It seems like a pretty prime option. But then we got Hastro, the man, the myth, I think probably a better friend of that of Hector as well. They have a history together themselves, and he's a legend when it comes to his Call of Duty history. That being Hastro as well, also a family guy, seems like a very good guy, and he wants his players inside the city of Dallas. We look at that drive time as well, guys, just over half an hour from where Hector is in Frisco down there to Dallas, or over there. I don't know where these locations are, so over there to Dallas is just over half an hour, much closer than that of Lee Zybin. And also rumors out there do state the current Call of Duty team, that being for OpTic's roster, they could be going to Envy, although I have had sources tell me that's not going to happen, so maybe that could nudge some options there for Hector, although that does not stop Hector from going to Envy himself, bringing his own sponsors, bringing his own backing, and joining that organization. I think it's probably on the whim of actually being a possibility of him joining Envy, but still has to be there because they are also based in Texas. We move on to our 3rd option, though, that being Jason Lake at Complexity, and where are they located? Right there in Frisco, Texas. So Complexity, backed by Jerry Jones, the owner over there at Dallas Cowboys, which, yes, they're not located in Dallas. They are in Frisco, which is next door neighbors to Hecz and his Hecz quarters, which, again, probably another prime option for him, as he does have, a bit of availability, a facility pretty much right there next to him. Although the question is, Complexity wants to spend some money. They're making CSGO renovations, Dota 2 renovations to those rosters. But we've talked about this already in several videos, as I'm sure you guys have seen. Yes, they do want to spend money. Do they want to spend, though, the big money to acquire that COD spot? That's where I'm on the whim about this one. So of those 3 options, guys, we look at drive times from Frisco to Frisco. You guys probably get the point there. When it comes time for these options, Lee Zybin, Hastro, Jason Lake, the closest of which is going to be, that's going to be Jason Lake. But Complexity, when it comes term for buying a spot there, I don't really know if that's going to happen. Also, when you look at a guy like Hastro, I'm not really sure if that's their allowance, right? Are you going to allow a guy like Hector to come in and take some sort of powerful role inside the organization without the team coming with him? I don't know. And then you look at a guy like Lee Zybin, he's not even confirmed to have a Call of Duty team yet. So yes, we do have 3 Texas options, but they all have their back and forth of why they would or would not work out. Most recently, I have heard of the Houston rumor, but then you look at the drive time or the location wise of that being 4.5 hours away. I don't really know. And then finally, that 4th option we've been talking about, Hector doing his own thing, right? When it was first announced, the rumors many months ago, what Hector's new organization might be, we all thought it would be his own thing, starting over again by himself, building up a new baby like he did for OpTic Gaming. So that's certainly an option, especially if you hear things that he wants to have that power, right? He wants to have some sort of power and bring in some sponsors or partners with him, and that way he can choose what rosters he wants in what esports, and that's probably, given the Infinite incident, probably a big thing on his mind. So that is the 3 options in Texas, plus the 4th option of him being on his own. What do you guys think is most likely? I really can't give you a great answer so far. I will say this, there are certainly options, right? This guy has big backing. He has a pretty solid following. Yes, his boys have probably a bigger following combined, but Hector himself is so well noted in the esports scene. I think wherever he goes, we'll see a pretty big increase, not only in viewership, but likely in percentages of terms of success if he actually gets a hand on some of their esports esports team. So yet again, guys, we have Lee Zybin over in Houston, has those Houston Outlaws, might have E United. We have Hastro over at Envy, of course, long noted in the Call of Duty scene and a friend of Hector himself, only 30 minutes away from Hector as well. And we have Jason Lake at Complexity. They're looking to spend some money, and they're right there in Frisco. Or we have Hector doing his own thing, starting his own organization and bringing in maybe some money as well as backing. Could they afford on their own a Call of Duty spot? That seems very, very unlikely. Either way, though, he certainly has options. It will be here somewhere in the future. He will be here in esports. The giant mystery, and my question to him is where and when will you announce it, because I cannot wait to announce it here on this channel. As always, I hope you guys all enjoy breaking down esports and gaming news here all day and all week long. Thank you all for the comments over the weekend. You guys are really nice people, and I greatly appreciate that. I'll see you back here sometime soon. Enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.